All right, let's get busy.
Lord, I love you. Yes, I love you.
What I'm gonna do today is I'm gonna get into once again my two books, The Mail Went to the South and Woman. Wish I could sit them right here while I'm doing the video. That might be nice, right? So The Mail Went to the South and Woman. Now, in these two books, The Mail Went to the South and Woman, I got some really good teachings in them. And the first one that I want to deal with is drugs and spirituality. Drugs and spirituality. This spiritual path is very sacred. And there's a lot of initiations that we have to go through. A lot of trials that we must pass. Your spiritual power is not going to just be given to you. You're not just going to wake up one day and think that you're going to be anointed and all this and all that. We know that the majority of the people on this planet don't have souls. So they don't have access to spiritual powers. Now, because they've bred with us and mixed with us, they have a residue of our power on the inside of them. So every now and then they'll do something amazing. Every now and then they'll tap into it. But they don't understand how to use it. And they use it in fleets, in fleet moments, and in pieces of moments, stuff like that. Whereas with you and I, we understand the power. We can control it on a daily basis. So there's different levels of spirituality. You got the high, you got the middle, you have the low. You got kindergarten, you got first grade, you got second grade, you got third grade, you have different grades. You have elementary school, you got middle school, you got a high school, you have college. There's levels of spirituality. And with dealing with drugs and spirituality, those of us who are spiritually mature, we understand that you must go level by level by level, because you learn how to defeat the enemies on the first level by practicing first level magic. You learn how to defeat, like the Bible says, that there's a new devil for every level. So for every level, you have to fight and train your body to conquer those devils and conquer those demons and conquer yourself, right? In the process of doing that, it builds up your strength, it builds up your ability to resist certain things, and you become strong and you're able to operate on those levels. Now, what some people do is they get into drugs, right? Although we created the drugs, we created the plants, we created all this stuff, they get into the drugs to cheat school. They can't get out of kindergarten. They want to be in the third grade like me and you. They want to be in middle school like me and you. The spiritual powerhouses. They go through mushrooms. You and I didn't have to take mushrooms to get to this level. I didn't have to do ayahuasca to get to this level. I didn't have to do the drugs that they were doing to get to this level. I fought to get to this level. So the levels on the first grade and the demons on the second grade and third grade and fourth grade, they can't affect me. I know how to defeat them. They've never passed the first level of spirituality, the second level of spirituality, the third level of spirituality. So they go hit these mushrooms and they jump to middle school. When they get to middle school, it hit them. Damn. I done got to middle school in this shit, right? I'm gonna turn my camera around. There we go. I done got to middle school in this shit. But what I didn't do was I cheated to get to middle school. I didn't do this the proper way. And these demons in middle school have taken advantage of me. They got me selling my body. The demons up here are too strong. I've lost my mind because I'm dealing with demons, I'm dealing with spirits, I'm dealing with energies up here. There's negative energies in the spirit realm and there's positive energies in the spirit realm. I messed up because I got up here and these spirits have taken advantage of me. And I can't go back to kindergarten because I done jumped these other grades already. So I'm floating around in the spirit realm and trying to find myself. So that is going to lead me to this chapter, drugs and spirituality. This is in my book, The Mail Went to the South. Go get it. Oh, that's my baby right here. So The Mail Went to the South, drugs and spirituality. I love this screen, y'all. Some can function on drugs, but most people who do this work and do drugs lose it. I said, what do they lose? See, there are those of us who can tap into drugs and still balance on the spiritual level because we're spiritually mature, because our melanin can decode the drugs and break the drugs down, and we keep a balance. But for those, there's a lot of people who get into drugs. That's as low level as a drug as marijuana is. There are some spiritual people who start smoking marijuana and lose their fucking minds. Do you see them out there? The weed got them geeked out because they're trying to mix the weed with this spiritual shit. But they're not mature enough to bring a balance to it. There's those of us who can function, but some of us can't. And we lose our minds because this spiritual stuff ain't no game. You can't fake this. You can't go calling on no deities because one night they gonna come. You can't go doing no rituals. You can't be doing no spells because there's spirits on the other side who watching you play with the magic, and they coming to find out who you are. You're gonna come home one day. What happens one day when you come home and something's sitting in your house? Yeah, that's just the first level shit. What happens when you sleep one night and something is grabbing your body and you can't get up and something is grabbing your body? You try not to lose your kids in one room and you stuck in the body. That's just the first level shit. Yeah, it's gonna happen. Yeah, keep playing around. We don't do the proper number. We do the proper amount of drugs and we overdo it. You don't even what they call it? You don't even microdose. Watch this. Black people don't need a lot of drugs because our melanin decodes the smallest traces of drugs in our system. Go get my book. Yeah, I wrote this shit. Black people don't need to do a lot of drugs because our melanin decodes the smallest traces of drugs in our system. That's why we deal with microdosing. You trying to eat a whole mushroom. You don't need a whole mushroom. Baby, all you need is a little. Put that under your tongue. See, they call plants belladonna, mandrake, all these plants. They say they're the most poisonous plants. I grow them. I'm a witch. I grow the most poisonous plants. Watch this. Lord, I love you. Yes, I love you. How I love you. I really love you. Watch this. Witches poison grow box, right? The witches poison grow box. Watch this right here. These seeds are the most poisonous seeds on the planet. The most poisonous seeds in the world right here, right? All the good stuff, right? You gotta order these from overseas. They tell us not to eat this. I grow it, I might lick the plant. They say just licking the plant to kill you. I'm not telling you to do this. I don't want nobody to do this. Please don't. I might just lick the plant. That motherfucker take me to heaven. That bitch take me right to the gates of Hades. Take me right to hell. Yeah, I like to go to hell. Ain't nobody in hell with a pitchfork. Yeah, hell, when we die, we go to hell. Hell is inside of you. It's the darkness, the perfect darkness, baby. They don't want you to understand the perfect darkness. This book right here, Mail Went to the South, is dealing with all of the darkness. So there's plants that resonate with niggas. There's plants that resonate with people with high levels of melanin. Just because you black don't mean that you, come on now. Yeah, you got some light-skinned people out there who look light-skinned, but they really, we're going to deal with that later. We don't need a lot. The God people, the original people, the creators, the gods. We don't need a lot because our melanin is our magic. It decodes the smallest traces of drugs in our system. That's like when you smoking marijuana. What's the proper way to smoke marijuana? You still smoking a whole blunt. Whereas the proper way to smoke marijuana is to get one hit. Hold it in, barely puff it out, let it dissolve in your system. One blunt should last you damn near a whole week. You still smoking a whole blunt, baby. You still smoking a whole blunt, baby. That's why when we drink, we get a shot. We don't drink a whole bottle. Our melanin decodes it. What grandma used to say, I'm out the South. My great grandma said, a shot of liquor a day. She lived until her 90s. Why you was never sick? A shot of liquor a day. A shot of Castro all a day. The smallest amount. The hybrid man, the created man, needs more than us because his body takes longer to respond to the natural plant drugs. The natural plant drugs don't respond to the mutant. It doesn't agree with his body. So when we can dip one puff, he got to smoke two blunts in one day to feel it. See, that's why they making the marijuana so strong and it's killing people and it's taking people out because they need the strongest of drugs to feel it because their levels of melanin is so low that when they take one puff, they can't taste it, they can't feel it, it don't work for them. So now they got to start making synthetic marijuana. The hybrid man needs more. This is why he needs synthetic drugs. You and I don't need synthetic drugs. You and I don't need pills. The plant magic works for me and you. It responds to our DNA. As soon as it get in your mouth, as soon as it get in your saliva, it sends something, it sends shockwaves to your brain. Your brain say, ooh, I remember that heals this. Chemical drugs. His body reacts to chemical drugs more than natural drugs. See, the created man, his body don't really respond to natural herbs, natural plants, natural foods, natural vegetables, natural fruits. He could be a vegan all he wants. It don't work for him. He got to grow his plants in what? Inside the labs with water. Me and your shit got to come through the dirt and through the soil. The sun hits the soil, makes the soil strong, giving nutrients, giving vitamins. They make the plants grow. We eating the plants in return. We eating the sun. So every time he eats something that was grown from the dirt, the hybrid man, when he eat anything that comes from the dirt, he poisoning himself. Why do you think they want to start doing hydroponics now? They want to get away from the soil and start putting their food up in these warehouses with water because they can add chemicals to it. They can add the synthetic chemicals to the plants so that they can eat it and make them strong because they need steroids and synthetic shit to make. Shut up, boy. Get back to the book. His body reacts to chemical drugs more than the natural plant drugs. We also don't have we also don't have natural doctors and shamans to show us the proper way to intake plant drugs. We got to go back to the doctors, the bush doctors, the shamans. And I'm not talking about the mutant shamans. Y'all going to the mutant shamans. You going to a shaman who's not even part of your culture. So y'all going to these shamans who give y'all these drugs that's really for the mutants. Let me say that again for the people in the back. You going to these shamans in Arizona and here, and I ain't got no respect for them. Because they are not us. They are hybrids. And they giving you... That's why I really preach to myself. Watch this. Grandma and grandpa knew how to deal with this plant medicine. You go on the shaman where grandma and grandpa is the ones who taught the shamans. Who taught the Native Americans. They wasn't here first, we was here first. Grandma and grandpa taught the Native Americans. Put some respect on grandma and grandpa's name. We taught the Indians. The Indians learned from us. The Indians are our bastardized children. We bred the Mongolians and created the Indians. Hello. Say it for somebody in the back. Go get the Book of the Red. Go get the scholarship talking about how what you call the Native American Indians wasn't even here. That we created them. Blackfoot, Cherokees, whatever the fuck you want to call them, we created them. And there's scholarship backing it up. When the Mongolians came from up there, and they came down here to what we call North America, they said it was black people already here. And we started trading with them, started having sex with them. The mixture of us, the pygmies, the black people who was already here, and the Mongolians, that's what we created the Indians. It was two races of people that got together, and we started fucking and created them, what they call the Indians. And let's talk about how the Indians really ain't like black people who've been in this country anyway. How they was bringing the white boys to come catch us for slavery and trading on us. Yeah, let's deal with that. We'll deal with that in another video. The young scholars have awakened. We here now, baby. Back to the video. Grandma and grandpa versus the shamans. Ooh, that's a chapter from my other book. When taken wrong or taking synthetic drugs, we don't come back and we are never the same. When taken wrong or when taking synthetic drugs, we don't come back and you're never the same. How many people you know went on a fucking bad shroom trip and I do consultations. And 98% of the people I know who fuck with the mushrooms, you're not going to say I hear you, But I'm going to say most of the people I know who dealt with the mushrooms, they never came back right. Never came back right. Yeah, I talked to them. I do the consultation. You know the first thing I ask them? Have you ever did mushrooms before? I'm not saying that some people can't do the shroom trips the proper way. But what I'm telling you is that the majority of people I know who got on them shrooms, they stuck somewhere up there. Well, them shrooms took them at, they stuck. Some of them smoking that weed so strong that weed done fucked them up mentally. I'm not talking about everybody, but I'm trying to get you to understand that they don't come back. And they were never the same. I've seen individuals who never balance their minds again. These drugs take you to other dimensions and places you aren't spiritually mature enough to enter. Drugs and spirituality. These drugs will take you someplace that you're not supposed to be at. You done took these drugs. You did some acid. You done did this, you done did that. That shit that took you to the gate of hell. And you stuck in between realms. You can't all the way come back to yourself because you cheated. You cheated. And when you cheated, them drugs took you somewhere where you shouldn't have been at. Imagine they in heaven thugging, having a party, chilling in heaven. They in hell having a party. Then the afterlife, whatever term you want to use. The nether realms, whatever you want to use. Hades, whatever you want to use. All the spirits over there having a good time and cutting up. And your ass just pop up in there. And then look at, you got to have a pass to get in the spirit realm. Either through that or some other shit like me being a shaman and a healer. I'm able to go over there because I got a pass because I'm cool with Anubis. I'm cool with the underworld gods, Osiris, Lord of the Underworld, Papa Legba, Baron Sambi, all these different dudes, right? I'm cool with the laws of the underworld. The Grim Reaper, I fuck with them. I help people on earth who transferring over, so they let me go to the underworld whenever I want to. You not even spiritually mature. You done did some drugs and popped up in their realm. Nah, homie, don't work that way, homie. Yeah, you ain't supposed to be in there. Remember on the movie Ghost? When Patrick Swayze went on that train and that spiritually mature spirit was able to touch other spirits? And he looked at him, what you doing over here? You ain't supposed to be over here? And that's the same thing what happens when you take these drugs and get in the spirit realm. They not letting you just go back to earth. Yeah, you trapped in realms. Now all of a sudden your mama think you crazy, your daddy think you crazy. You saying stuff and you speaking on stuff. People like, what is wrong with you? You trapped in dimensions. There's levels to this shit. And this video is called Drugs and Spirituality. I've seen individuals never balance their minds again. These drugs take you to other dimensions that you're not spiritually mature enough to get in. So be careful with that acid. Be careful with that weed that's not really weed. All that synthetic shit that we taking now, that's not for me and you. We the gods. We don't need no drugs to get in the heavens. We don't need no drugs to go to hell. We don't need no drugs to go to the afterlife. We don't need no drugs to access the ancestors. We don't need no drugs to go to the Akashic realms. We have the natural staple that allows us to get there. They got to cheat and get the synthetic stuff to get to the places where we trying to go at. You can't buy your... Ah, shit.